So what's going on, guys? I'm Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video on the channel where today we are here with a zombies Q&A, answering any questions about COD Zombies, mainly sticking with the latest one, BO7, because just in case you weren't aware, I have probably done about 200 videos in this series, so if there's any questions from the old games that you want to know, the chances are I've already answered them. However, if there's anything you want to know, leave it in the comment section below and maybe we can answer it in a future video. Getting straight into today's then, focusing all on Black Ops 7 Zombies. How did the Elder God in Ashes of the Damned die? What happened to it? So if you don't know, maybe you would have passed this in the map and not thought anything of it. There is a giant Order Elder God lying dead in one of the foggy areas. And well, the area just so happens to be called Order Graveyard. The Order is the name of this Elder God. We have seen many different Elder Gods over the years. The Forsaken, Cortifex, Nauticus, Syraxis, Bellicar, Invicta, Volcana, Zabala, Decimator, and of course, these giant flying things in Revelations. The Order is just another variant of an Elder God. An Elder God is basically a powerful creature that resides within the Dark Aether. Often they are atop of the food chain, very powerful, and most of the time ancient deities that have been in the Dark Aether for ages. And well, as you can see in BO7, one of them is dead. And you would be right to ask why, considering I've just told you, compared to all of the other creatures in the Dark Aether, the zombies, the mimics, the manglers, the disciples, the ravengers, the megatons, the Elder Gods are supposed to be the most powerful. Therefore, you would think not invulnerable, but there wouldn't be much that could kill them, unless it was something of equal size. And well, if you take your minds back to Cold War Zombies, there were 3 pieces of intel in that map which I want you to look at. So these are messages sent from Zykov, a man that became trapped in the Dark Aether in the 1940s, however, over time evolved into an Elder God himself called the Forsaken. But after spending 1,646 days in the Dark Aether, he wrote to our Requiem team saying, "Saw something new today, something big, tall as a building, walking through fog, difficult to see details. Kept my distance as it passed. I heard talk from others that giants roam this land, but dismissed it as madness. Heard one calling them Elder Gods. Thought I'd catalogued all of the creatures here on their pecking order. I was wrong." On day 4100, he wrote, "Found one of the big ones dead today. Had the impression they left each other alone, but it was clear from the wounds they fight amongst themselves. There is talk here that one of the overlords is hunting the rest." Sounded like crazy talk, especially because some now worship the giants, but I have seen enough to believe it. If one of the giants is imposing its will on the rest, I shudder to think what new order may emerge. And then on day 4527, Zykov wrote, "I have heard more rumours about a creature hunting the Elder God entities who battle for supremacy here. They say it is fairly new, not of the old ones who have fought to a stalemate since this realm was young. There is a particularly disturbing detail I keep hearing. They say it actually consumes those it defeats in combat, devouring them whole, and somehow it absorbs all of the Dark Aether power from its victim and adds it to its own. Some claim that it gains new abilities this way, such as the power to change its appearance, allowing it to stalk its prey disguised as someone they trust. I dismissed it as idle fantasy the first time I heard it, but repetition has a way of giving credence to such claims. I have not seen it, but I now believe it is out there." So Zykov, who was actually the Forsaken, he was talking in third person, but he mentioned these giant Elder Gods in the Dark Aether who fought each other for supremacy. He found one of them dead, and looking at its wounds, it was clear to him that the Elder Gods fight amongst themselves. And not only that, he also confirmed that the Forsaken was killing Elder Gods, upon which he would consume their powers for himself. So knowing this, there is a chance this dead Order Elder God was killed by one of its own. There isn't only one order in the Dark Aether, there are tens, maybe hundreds or thousands of them. We don't know the exact number, but there's a chance this dead order was killed by another order. I think there's also the chance this dead Order Elder God was killed by the Forsaken himself. There's nothing to prove that, but considering we know he killed Elder Gods, and this is one of them, that is a cool theory, and I suppose it's a little bit less boring. It could have just died naturally. I don't know if that can happen, but Looking at the way it's lying, it's hard to see because it's in the fog, but it's almost frozen over. It almost looks like stone, and we know the Elder Gods are made up of what looks like rotting flesh and corpses with zombies attached to them. This order's ribcage is showing, so I don't know how long it's been here, but there are a few options as to how it died. The most exciting to me is that it was killed by the Forsaken or another Elder God. Right behind it, there is a skull of a T-Rex, and what I'm assuming is that same T-Rex's ribcage. This sounds like a crazy theory, but imagine if the T-Rex and the Order fought. That's unlikely. This T-Rex was probably long dead before it was banished into the Dark Aether, but never say never. The next question I want to answer is in regards to the Warden and why he hasn't turned into a zombie himself. Because the Warden is human, or at least at one time he was. He was a soldier during the American Civil War before he was banished into the Dark Aether. There is a lot about his story that we don't quite know yet, how exactly he got there, but what we do know is he has been in the Dark Aether for a very long time at this point.
That cowboy with the sunglasses, any idea who he is?
Requiem never encountered him. Not sure how long he's been here. All I know is he's toying with us.
And what we also know is people who have been in here for a shorter period than him end up succumbing to the Dark Aether's side effects and more often than not turning into one of its creatures, whether that's a disciple, a mimic, or something else. 99% of these stories we've heard about of people becoming trapped here, it ends with them either dying, being killed by something, or turning into a zombie themselves. So a character we've just mentioned, Zykov, arrived in the Dark Aether in the 1940s and by the 1980s had become the Forsaken. Over a 40-year time gap, he became the most powerful creature in there. He initially survived by killing smaller creatures with his weapons, zombies. He then started to succumb to the Dark Aether. As he changed, he was able to kill off bigger creatures, where he continued to grow, gain more powers, and become this huge entity. Remembering, time in the Dark Aether works differently. 40 Earth years would equate to 400 years in the Dark Aether, but I'm pretty sure it took him about 10 years to evolve into what he did. Samantha Maxis was another person that was banished into the Dark Aether. Even for a short amount of time, 3 days in Firebase C, her eyes turned purple, she gained the ability to fly, she had telekinesis powers. She wasn't quite in there long enough to turn into an undead creature, but she was drastically affected by it, including her memory loss. So when you look at the Warden, well, it seems like, and the characters say it themselves, he has been in here longer than anyone else, longer than Zykov was, probably since the 1860s. And while he has white glowing eyes and some of his skin looks a little bit, not rotten, but old, he very much resembles a normal looking person, excusing his eyes. He hasn't turned into a zombie or an Elder God, yet he's been in here for over 100 years? The question is, how? What makes him so special? If he was in the Dark Aether at the same time as Zykov, why did we never hear about him in Cold War? If he was powerful enough to capture the Shadowsmiths, we don't know how he did it yet, then why was the Forsaken considered the most powerful entity in the Dark Aether and not this Warden? Why did we never hear about him up until now? If he's been in there all throughout this new zombie story in Cold War, Vanguard, BO6 and now in BO7, there have been so many Elder Gods that have existed in here at the same time as him, Cortifex, yet we never even knew this Warden existed. It's very, very strange and suspicious, especially when he still looks like a normal person. It doesn't, besides from his eyes, look like he's been affected by the Dark Aether at all. Could it have something to do with his hold over the Shadowsmiths? Is his bond with them protecting him from the Dark Aether's influence? Since we know the Shadowsmiths are made up of the memories and fabrics of the Dark Aether, maybe that bond somehow means he's not affected by it? You look at the Shadowsmiths, they don't really look human. Yeah, there's something really off about the Warden that we don't know yet. We're being told this pretty simple story, yet as always, there's something totally off about him. Why he's after these souls of Richtof and Tycho Nikolai and Dempsey, Weaver, Carver, Graham, Meyer, maybe that's got something to do with it. Maybe his ability to extract others' essence somehow means the Dark Aether can't affect him if he's using the souls of others. I don't know with this one, they're just a few theories I could throw out. Let me know in the comment section below though what you guys think. And then the final one I'm going to talk about in this video is Ted. How did he get here? And well, that's a relatively simple one. Just like everything at the end of Black Ops 4 Zombies and Tag der Toten, it was all banished into the Dark Aether. Every single map and everything contained within them was sent there. And that includes Ted. The last time we saw him was actually in Alpha Omega in the bunker as the lounge attendant. So is the one we see in Ashes of the Damned that version of Ted, or is it the one from the transit bus? Transit takes place way after Alpha Omega in 2035, so I would say this is that version of Ted. But then again, we've also seen plenty of others. The one that was in Zero Base that Dr. Maxis had taken. So there's actually a few versions of Ted that it could be from the multiverse. He would have existed in all of the dimensions. Whichever it is, he is here because he was banished into the Dark Ether, and we've now found him again. But yeah, that's it for today. Any other questions you guys have, leave them in the comment section below, and hopefully we can use them for another video. Drop a like rating if you've enjoyed this one, make sure you are subscribed, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.